Hello, welcome to Dev Radio. We're here especially for the Innovation Challenge hackers. Everyone's getting ready for a 2-week intense experience to build some epic stuff. And one of the key challenges that we're putting out there is focused on accessibility. Accessibility is important for not just if you're working on that challenge, but for every project. And there's a lot to it. And I'm excited to have Rory Preddy here, who is my favorite subject matter expert from Microsoft on the topic. And I'll say that to any other subject matter expert. They'll all be second to you, Rory. So with that, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Should I pull up your presentation here?
Yeah, please. And I've got some good news, is that the entire presentation is available to you, and we're going to pop up the repo there, and I've got the slides in PDF format that you can actually use. And Matt and I have, I think this is the third or fourth session that we've actually done together, Matt. And one of the key things that I love to do is accessibility. I'm actually a Java developer. I've got brown hair, I've got glasses, and I'm wearing a blue shirt, and I'm speaking to you from Johannesburg. And I'm an Azure Java developer for Microsoft. And one of the stretches that I do is accessibility. I have dwarfism, achondroplasia. I'm 4'1", 50 kilos, and I travel around the world. I've spoken at the United Nations, I've spoken at the EU Parliament on accessibility, because it's actually very easy to do. Ironically, it's very easy to do, but a lot of people are intimidated about it. But at the end of this session, you're going to know the basics around it, and you're going to see how AI and Copilot can really help you make it so much easier. So yeah, so this is the presentation. You can follow me on Twitter. I think Twitter's still a thing. On X or on LinkedIn, on Rory Preddy. And yeah, let's go through a little background about why I do this presentation. So, being 4'1", I have nuances I need to accommodate. So I bolt on a lot of things. So this is my car pedal in my midlife crisis, my BMW car, and I bolt them on. And this is how I get accessible. And I also make a plan. This is me lecturing at a university. This is me getting coffee. Now, the biggest problem with bolt-on is that you give birth to something called the Hydra, which is a mythical creature that if you chop off their head, then another one grows. And we know as programmers that if you try to fix something in production, you're going to spend a large number of unnecessary work hours. And it's the same with accessibility. We don't want to bolt on. We want to be able to bring our genuine self to work without having to feel that we're an other. And accessibility is and I'm going to give you the definition, is really the creation of products and services that don't fail when they accommodate everyone. Here you can see this is the Hydra being birthed here, and it's a ramp that is created, and the Hydra was right at the end there being created because the person didn't really think, wait a second, in production there's a bug about to be formed though. And we're also going to touch on AI, and everyone is freaking out. Like ChatGPT right now and OpenAI has announced that there is tons of stuff. There's the 12 days of OpenAI that is coming up. They're going to announce Sora, and there's a hype cycle for AI here. And you can see there that there is a hype cycle, and there is a generative AI. It's actually going down to the trough of disillusionment, which basically means, hey, let's get sober. You can't really, replace humans here. It is not going to work here. And there's so many different nice little features. This is the Gartner study here. This was just recently announced, and there's a lot of new things coming up here also. So yeah, we're getting a little bit more sober. So what does that really mean? It means, though, now we can actually do AI for accessibility without going a little bit crazy here. And we need to, because we've got the Americans with Disabilities Act and the European Accessibility Act, which is basically saying if you're going to create a website or a product, you have to do it. Else, don't talk to us, United States, and don't talk to the EU, because they're just not going to, if not, they're not let you work with them or fine you. And one of the things that this hackathon is doing is working with the American federal government to help them go in and create accessible websites, which is what we're going to look at how to do today. So today we're going to follow an introduction. We're going to go through an accessibility 101. We're going to go through developing and testing, basically. And then we're going to go add AI to your app, so you can make it more accessible just by adding AI to it. And then we're going to go through a demo, drop the mic demo around it though. So the introduction, we've kind of followed a little bit of introducing myself, but let's also go through an introduction of accessibility. So accessibility 101, and here's a Braille typewriter on a laptop, and it really means like, wait a second, what is going on? This person is innovative, because we've done studies that have said that if you do inclusive product and service design, you conform to accessibility compliance, like the EU and American acts, you increase the productivity and you have innovation. And we've done studies that show that once you actually look at how to broaden the blast radius for your products, that it's not only just the one type of people, it's everyone can use your products though, you start to think differently. It's like I'm using glasses here. Now, the irony is that you can kind of see a little bit of a blue tint, but I need the glasses because I need to be able to see you, Matt, and everything. But okay, cool. I'm in the same a genre as the silver generation, which is the $1 trillion generation, which has huge buying power, and they have failing eyesight. And by catering for their inclusive product and service design, lead to innovation, which is going and buy these nice glasses, and being able to really help me get better and help others get better. Because disability is not a personal health condition. You don't go to a doctor and you say, "Oh, I'm feeling a little bit bad," and the doctor says, "Yo, I think you have the disabilities." No, the only time you have that, you feel disabled, is if you have a mismatched human interaction. And I had that recently. Now I'm 45 years old, and I started in my midlife crisis, and I started losing weight. So I jumped on the scale. I've got a BMI scale, and I did a little bit of calculation and said, "Okay, how much do you weigh?" At the time, 65 kilos. I've lost 15 kilos, and my height 4.1, and I thought, this thing has probably never actually heard of someone this small and this stout. And okay, cool, jump on it, and it called me horrible names, and I felt disabled. And ever since then, I've actually been doing this talk because I realized, wait a second, that there's mismatched human interactions, and if I can speak to them and show them the use cases of me using their products, like being able to go into an elevator and pressing all the bottom buttons and not the top buttons because I can't even reach them, then I can actually show people how to bring accessibility, innovation, and also better productivity though. So the three main categories of accessibility are permanent, temporary, and situational. So permanent is, and in this case here, is someone with an arm amputee though. Temporary is a boy who's fallen from a ladder and has broken his arm. And then situational is a parent holding their child. And I'm a parent, trust me. The situational one is the worst. That because you're sleep deprived, you're financially, mentally, you're broken. You're absolutely broken. But once you solve it for the permanent disability, you get benefit for the temporary one and situational. And I give the example for a pregnant woman, because a pregnant woman, a lot of people don't realize that the doors of their offices are very difficult. So I go in and I helped Microsoft actually go in and help just make the doors easier. And once doing that, you'd realize, wait a second, if a door's hard for a pregnant woman, it probably is hard for a senior, and it's probably hard for someone else though. And it led to better productivity around that accessibility as spectrum. And disabilities are diverse. We have visual, so we have people like myself with failing eyesight. We have cognitive, so neurodiverse, which is actually a new section that has been added. We have mobility. So like, you don't see it here, but I actually have 4 masters in front of me. I've got my Logitech MX Master. Then I've got my Logitech keyboard. Then I've got my Apple Mac trackpad. Then I've got my Apple Magic Mouse here, because I actually have mobility issues also, and my shoulders clamp up. So I use my left hand. You'll notice here, sometimes I actually go in and I use my left hand. I had to teach myself how to do that though. We also have hearing. I have my speakers ramped up also because I actually have hearing issues here. And then we have speech, people who can't actually go in and communicate. And then we have neural, which is actually cognitive also, but forms part of that. So they're very diverse. But once you solve for one, like we saw that you solve for the arm amputee, it gets really easy to be able to broaden that to extend to many though. So let's go in here, and now that we have the basics of how to do testing. And it's pretty simple to do that. So we covered recognize exclusion. We had the amputee. And then you solve for one, extend to many, so the situational, temporary, and permanent, and then learn from diversity. You do a survey around that. Wait a second, did this help? Pop it in there. Now with AI, you can do even better. You can say to the AI, go change, and we're about to launch that now also with chain of thought reasoning. Go change your workflow. And I did this for Emirates in IATA conference. I said, how many of your workflows, if there is an accessibility issue, can you change dynamically? They said, no, we can't do that. I said, yeah, but with AI you can. And you change the workflow according to that. So integrate feedback and offer support, and then change the workflow to help them. Hey, AI, let's go in and do that. I'm going to show you a little bit later on how to do that. So the key tool that we have is Accessibility Insights, and that is for accessibility testing. That helps us shift left to design and build accessibility from the start. So it's kind of like testing. When do you test? From the beginning. When do you test for accessibility? From the beginning. So you use your insights, you bring in people with disability. Like myself, I understand mobility issues because I have dwarfism. So I would be able to help you go in and understand mobility issues for similar people. And then you have user engagement, design sprints. Then you fill in the design gaps. You have the LI, design spec reviews, the toolkits, the PWE sessions, and all of this is on microsoft.com/accessibility. We have the entire smorgasbord of that. You have your learn techniques and tools, which is the accessibility insights. We're going to show you how to actually integrate that with DevOps coming up. And then you have your rigorous testing. And it's important to test with the same people that that you've hired. So we do disability hiring. So when we create a product, we actually go in there and say, cool, we're going to not only do diversity hiring, but we're going to do disability hiring, because no one is got more skin in the game as an individual who stands to not win by bringing that product to fruition the best way it can, which is to allow everyone to be able to use it. So this is Accessibility Insights for Web. It's Chrome and also Edge plugin, and it allows you to do FastPass, which I use all the time, which is a fast accessibility checker, and then you can go in there and say, wait a second, this web page. We also have it for Windows apps and for Android. This web page is great, and it uses the X rules engine. We also have an assessment, which is WCAG 2.1 and soon to be 2.2 compliant, which actually meets the conformity requirements for the EU and the United States Disability Act, though. So this is the biggest example here. This is the X linter I'm using for the Visual Studio Code, and you can see there, I think this is Visual Studio Code. Yeah, it is. And over there, this uses the X rules engine, the same rules engine that Accessibility Insights uses. And it says, yeah, there's a problem there. Image source, class name equals center. There's no alt tag there. You need an alternative tag, because a screen reader goes in and actually says, wait a second, I can read from the screen though. And you can also go in there and use the GitHub actions. So over here, and we're going to go through it. This is the Azure DevOps. So one is that you can run FastPass, you can do your manual testing, you can do the Visual Studio Code, and then you can also use the Microsoft Accessibility actions. Don't worry, I'm going to show all of this in the demo. And then you can see there's the X linter action. So there's a lot of tools there that you can actually use that can help you. And because you don't want to do rigorous manual testing on a lot of these accessibility issues. You want AI to help you with that and to solve that. Okay, so we also have a small little tool called Playwright. I don't know if you've heard of it, though. Playwright allows you to do rigorous testing using a simulated browser that can go in there and test it. And my favorite is, because I'm a Java developer, you can go to DQ Labs, Xcore, Maven, HTML, and spins up all of these different browsers and just goes in and tests your web pages, your apps, and everything for that, though. So now that we've seen the testing tools, and there's quite a lot of them. Now, how do you develop with AI? So we want to solve these problems, like that alt tag text issue. How do I solve that? So first of all, we did a survey. Now, I'm very keen, and I have been in developer relations for 12 years now, to bring joy to developers. But I also was a little bit confused. So I started looking into Flow, and Microsoft also understood this, though. So we went in and we did a survey, and 88% of developers actually said, wait a second, using an AI tool helps me with the flow, and it gives me greater focus, more inspiration, and more enjoyment. And you can go in there and go aka.ms/flow state. For example, when you want to get some coffee, you go through and you go to the kitchen. And by the time you're in the kitchen, you open the fridge. Have you ever seen that you lose track of it? Because you're walking through multiple rooms. And as you walk through those rooms, you lose track because all you want is coffee. You say, okay, cool, what do I want? I want creamer, I want milk, I want sugar, I want all of these things, but you lose the track of that. It's the same with AI tools. It helps you have super high focus, and you can go in and you can bring in that inspiration, that creative outlets, and then you can also have enjoyment. You can do things that you didn't really understood that you could because there's no distraction. And this is a little bit of an older study, but it is a great way for me to showcase exactly how to bring enjoyment. Enjoyment comes from being able to get that inspiration and that creativity. So how do you do this with GitHub Copilot? When I started with GitHub Copilot in 2019, we only had gray text, which means that you have your method, and it kind of worked out exactly what we did. And we did this by scanning 80 million public Git repos. And we partnered with OpenAI, and we allowed them to actually create the first ghost text there. But then we said, okay, cool, we want something more conversational. And they partnered with us to bring out ChatGPT. So we had the chat function here. So now we can have a whole conversation. Humans work, and most of our brain works with vision and voice. So as a result, when you have this chat syntax, you can go, wait a second, I can pull in that inspiration, that creative, by going through that process without having all of those distractions. So the chat works great. But what about if I want to go inside the code and just select a line of text? It also gives you the ability to go inline. So you can actually say, wait a second, pull in that idea, pull out that idea. So it gives you the ability to go in and also fine tune it though. So here's an example of something called an agent. Not like Agent Smith from the Matrix, well, kind of a little bit like that. But what agents are is that, if you can imagine, there's a little ChatGPT robot running in GitHub Copilot on a server somewhere. And that agent is a little bit more powerful than GitHub Copilot. And you can say, at Workspace, go find all the files that I have, and then help me with this. And it goes, okay, cool, loading in all the files that you have then, and I know you want to chat with me, but I need a little bit more context. It's like me going to my wife and saying, okay, what did you spend? She goes, a lot. No, be more detailed, okay? Okay, so then we also have the ability to go in, this didn't work. What, I need some help to do that. And it goes, paste the error. But you can just go in, okay, cool, add terminal, which is an agent also though. And we have quite a few numbers of those agents there. So we've seen the workspace agent and the terminal agents. Next, also, we have a VS Code agent. Now, one of the biggest issues I have with VS Code is that I log into a new instance or a new PC and I go, dark mode. Do not shine the light into my brains and burn my retina. And you go, okay, cool, how do you try to do dark mode on VS Code. And with VS Code, just go at VS Code dark mode. And then we'll just go in there and just add VS Code. And you can go at VS Code, okay, cool, add some preferences and settings and everything, and it will give you that conversational light with that. And that's a great agent that is over and above the coding that just makes your code environment a little bit more though. So now we've seen some of the agents here. What about more agents? What about third-party agents? Now you can go in there and you can go with Copilot. Look at that. We've got DataStax and Sentry. This is Sentry, which is a kind of a monitoring tool though. And Sentry partnered with us to go in and create Sentry agents though. You can go in and build one. You could actually have a what is my wife spending with my credit card agent, and then just make sure that she doesn't overspend the credit limit though. We also have the ability to have an Azure agent. We just launched this. Azure, break down the cost of my RPZA resource group for November. So you can go per resource group, and it will just go in there and give you the cost. It will tell you each resource. And I've used this so many times because else you don't have to go to the portal. Now, what is the key of this is that I don't have to go out of Visual Studio Code. And the minute I do that, I don't have to go walk through those doorways and lose my context. I can stay creative and also focus and have enjoyment. We also have the ability to go, and this is recent, at data. So there's some housing.csv, and then I'm saying to it, analyze the housing.csv. This is Excel in VS Code. And then I can go, okay, cool, display a visualization for the above information. And it'll go create a scatter graph for me. And I can go and query it and go through the process of that, though. So a lot of things are being amalgamated into the IDE. You don't have to go to the Azure portal. You don't have to go outside to do data analysis. And it also allows you, and this is one of them, to do Copilot edit. Now, if you're familiar with ChatGPT and you go through the new syntax that it's using, the new version it's called chain of thought. I'm going to think about what I'm doing, and I'm going to think with the right context. And then here's some files that I've got here. I'm going to add that to those files, drag and drop. And then I can go, okay, cool. Now I can have a conversation. You know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm doing here. And I can go in there and I can go, and this is called Copilot edits. And then it can go in there, okay, cool. I've got the text there and I can go accept and everything like that. So this is becoming almost like a scaffolding that you can go in there and you can have that creative outlet without ever even going into the code. Yeah, and this is some of the newest features that you have, though. So let's go back into here. So one of the other things is that you can go and you can see their Copilot instructions. Listen, and a lot of LLMs don't know who I am or what I'm doing and everything, or they go, Rory, I can't do that. So you give Copilot instructions, it'll read that and say, oh, wow, you're trying to create a bot or a page or anything like that. And it will read those instructions, go, oh, this is exactly what you're doing. You don't have to keep on having that same conversation again for it, though. And if you don't want to go in the IDE, we also have the GitHub Copilot for command line. Now, who here loves regex? No one puts their hand up. I've done this in a large session, though. So here, how do you find all the files bigger than 120K? And then it says suggested file size there. So this allows you also to all the command line prompts and in the terminal of Visual Studio Code to go through it, and you can copy the command or even execute the command. This is the GitHub command line here. Now, we get this often. Like, Rory, you're using ChatGPT in the background. Yeah, you can do that, but you can also kind of fine-tune your models, and this is in private preview, and you can create your own model for your own organization. But you can also, more importantly, you can go, oh no, this is reviewing. You can go in here and you can use the new models which are hosted on AWS. You can use the AWS models because we can't force people to use GPT 4.0 for GitHub Copilot. Because what we're doing then is we're kind of like saying to you, oh, Microsoft's the best. Microsoft, you should only use Microsoft. No one's going to do that. If you want to use cloud, you can use cloud, though. And this is something that we've just released also. You can use your own custom model, or you can go use cloud, though. And you can also go in there and you can add reviews here, which is, and I'm going to showcase this now. You can go in there and with GitHub Copilot Workspaces, you can just review all of that, and you can just click buttons there, and it can go done. And it can just get it done for you. This is, you can see there, the fetch call not await. How do I fix that? And you can go, okay, cool. Add reviewers, and then it'll give you the suggested change. Just click, 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 done, done, done. So it's powerful. It's got all of those things, though. And okay, cool. So can AI oversee AI is the question. How do you do this? How do you build AI systems? So first, a little bit of a background on an LLM. If you've been under a rock for a while, though, you've got the user experience there. So the HTML, the Java code, the Python code, and then you've got the system message and grounding. You are a helpful assistant, and you don't actually go in and do any funny business. Then you've got the safety system. If they want to do funny business, like let's just say they want to cheat in their taxes, it goes, don't do that. And those are the classification models that made Azure OpenAI so popular, because we've got the best classification models. Then you've got the models underneath that, which are all of the models we have. And if you go into the Azure AI Studio, we have hundreds now. Every model that you can think of, we kind of let you do that. So you've got your LLM models, and we want to create a RAG here. So wait a second. We want to have a conversation with your data. You've got your app developer. You've got your query, your knowledge search, which is Azure Cognitive Search, which is elastic. You take all your PDF documents, you chuck them into Azure Cognitive Search, and then it creates the embeddings for you, and then you go and you query it. And you can create all of this with GitHub Copilot, though. So one of the things that I love promoting is the awesome AZD, aka.ms/awesome-azd, and it gives you a template library for all the languages. You can think of Python, Rust, R, Ruby, Java, C#, and it gives you also the ability to create templates with one click. You just go AZD app, and it will go in and create it. So I had 4 hours. I was phoned in nearly midnight. And they say, okay, cool. I need you for the United Nations. I need you to go for, it was a hackathon I was doing. I need you to go in and create an app. And I, okay, cool. What do you need? You need container apps. And okay, cool. The container app, you've got a chat app there. You have an API app, an indexer, and then it goes in and creates the index. It uses a storage account, uses event grids to go in and take all the documents you have though. And what do you need me to consume? All of the hackathon material for the hackathon that we're doing, and it was an anti-corruption hackathon. So I said, okay, cool. I've got the awesome AZD. I'll find a template in Java that can do that. It will go in and create your container apps or your Kubernetes, and then it will take my information there. This is the corruption here. Chuck it into cognitive search, which is a nice way to create embeddings. And then I've got my chat with my data. And this was the one that I did in C# at the time. It wasn't actually Java. And then what is corruption in the public sector? It goes in, generates it there. And this is from the template. I just took the documents there, the PDF documents, and it created for me. Now, when I did this, everyone stopped in the hackathon and they said, Rory, is the hackathon over? I go, why? You've given us the solution. And I go, no, you have to go in and do this yourself. Don't be, AI is going to do a lot for you, but not everything. And you can get the prompt there, so you can actually see the prompt that it's going to do, the supporting content, all of that. So awesome AZD. Great way to actually go in there. So that's everything I wanted to show you about the background. Next, we're going to go through a very basic demo. And that's basically everything I want to show you. And now you can go in there and you can go WCAG issues. And wait, let me just make that a little bit bigger from there. You can snapshot that. So take out your mobile phones, or I don't even know how to do this on Windows or Mac. You can go into that, and I've prepared all of that. All the slides that you saw there, you can access them along with some nice sample code that I've spent a long time actually going and doing that. So Rory P /HTMLW WCAG issues though. So let's go into here. Let's just minimize that. And then I'm going to go into the repo here. Let's go into the repo. Let's make a new thing there. WC WCAG issues here. And I'm going to bring this here. And I'm going to go into the here. And I've got my repo here. And it's got all of this was created with AI. Every single thing that you see there was created with GitHub Copilot. So if anything is wrong, you blame that AI. Okay, the slides are there. And there's some GitHub actions. So you can go into code. You can open up code there, open in GitHub desktop, and that'll open up into your Visual Studio Code. Let me just open that up quickly. Open in Visual Studio Code. And there's the Visual Studio Code. There we go. Visual Studio Code. So here's my repo here. And the first thing I want to do is, okay, cool. This is just to showcase how to fix accessibility issues. So what are the accessibility issues? So if I right click on my index.html, it's only got one page there, and I go Reveal in File Explorer, and I open it up here, and I've got my, let's just take that. I don't want to close that restream there. I've got the WCAG issues here. This is terrible. I mean, like the text is bad, the text has low contrast. Now, how did I generate this? I just asked Copilot to generate it for me. I said to Copilot, and this will blow your mind, I said, hey, Copilot, I need a page for a demo that I'm doing for my friend Matt. And I went into here, and I said to them, okay, here's GitHub Copilot. Let's do a new window here. Hey, GitHub Copilot. Create me an HTML project with a single HTML file with WCAG issues. The file should have low contrast text, missing alt text or images, missing landmarks, improper use of headings, missing ARIA attributes. The file should be intentionally created to demonstrate common WCAG issues that can be presented in an HTML file. And I can use that in, well, there's Claude. I can do GPT-4.0. You just hit enter. You just create my project. You can do this for C#, for Java, for anything really. And it's going to go, cool, I'm a partner, I'm a co-pilot here. I'm going to go create the project for you. And then there's the file. And I'm not going to use the file that it generated for me. You can just go create workspace. So I created this for you, Matt. And then I went in, I simplified it a little bit because I didn't want it to the demo to be a little bit more difficult. And then here's my page. And the first thing I want to show you is how to do some manual stuff on here before we get into AI. So I can go into Accessibility Insights, and you can go into the Chrome store. It's Accessibility Insights for Web. And I can just go there and I can go FastPass. You can just click on FastPass, and it'll say, okay, cool, visual color contrast is wrong, haslang is wrong, and yeah, okay, what do you want to do there? And I can just file the issue straight into the repo. You can just go GitHub straight into the repo, but I want to solve those issues. So one of those things it actually tells me what to do, copy the failure details, and it'll give me a visual representation of how to do that. You can see there, it's giving me the view of that. But I also want to be able to go into that and do the same in my IDE. I don't want to go into the page. If I just click on the file, oh, wait, I've got the X linter, which is basically one of our partners, and it says to me, your HTML document has a lang attribute that is missing. So I can go there and I can say, okay, cool, how do I solve that? I can give me some information, and I can go fix with Copilot. Cool, yeah, fix with Copilot, and fix it, just add the lang. Okay, cool, done. So thank you. And I can actually go, okay, cool, I want to fix the rest of them, and fix, and I can go fix the issues in this page. And I'll go, okay, cool, what issues? Accessibility. I want to tell it, okay, cool. Accessibility, okay, cool. To improve the accessibility, do all those things that it says there, and then, okay, cool. I want to add some settings there, and it's going to go through all of them, and I can just go, oh, so lazy. Oh, I'm going to go, okay, cool. Apply an editor. Notice I haven't really typed in really anything, really. I just click. I go, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, that's great. Accept changes. Yeah. And then I can go into my source control here, and then I can go, okay, cool. What? Oh, you made some changes. What did you do here? Well, just let's go accept those changes. Yes. And now check it into Git and tell me what you did. The source is there also, so we'll fix that also. Then I can just go, okay, cool. We'll fix that now also. It added, look at that. It added generate message with Copilot. Cool. Let's do that. And we're going to go commit, and we're going to commit push. But it didn't really fix the two issues there, the alt image tags. So, and now my DevOps is going to fail. Rory, what do you mean DevOps? So Copilot and me went in, and I said, okay, Copilot, go in and create some GitHub actions. So one of them is the X action here, which basically you can use X linter or the accessibility insights, and just go create a report for me and fail everything. And on push, go in and do that. The other one goes in and says to Azure, yeah, go in and create and take this file and pop it into an Azure storage blob and just host the file on Azure. And you don't really pay for that. It's on storage there, and it's like, minuscule there. And I can go into my GitHub actions there, and I can say, okay, cool. What's the current branch? And it's busy running it here, the compliance there, and I can go, okay, cool. The compliance there, is it running? Oh, no, the accessibility check failed. Oh, what was those actions there? Okay, I mean, image alt and the color contrast actually failed also. I didn't even check that, but that actually did it over there. So yeah, so the actions is actually part of the repo there. So this failed here. And what about the other test here? Let's just go here, and we want to go into the blob storage. I don't remember what the blob storage. Yeah, it popped it onto the blob storage there. I don't remember what the URL actually is of my blob storage though, but it's somewhere there, and it's the file there, and it's now popped it onto the blob storage. Yay, and everything. But how do I solve that? Finally, I want to introduce you to the GitHub workspaces. So now I've got accessibility issues. I've logged the workspace. There's still some accessibility issues. And I go, yeah, there's accessibility issues in index.html. I try to fix them. Okay, cool. Open in GitHub workspaces. I just click that, and it goes, okay, cool. Yeah, now let's brainstorm. Let's do this properly, hey. Let's go into, and you can sign up for the preview here. Yeah. Has the accessibility issues been fully addressed? No, low contrast and proposed solution, missing area attributes, missing alt text. Yeah. Generate the code for me, and I can have the whole conversation with that there. And yeah, index.html is going to generate the code for me. Hopefully this works. Last time it did work actually perfectly last time. So, and we're going to test this with Accessibility Insights. Index.html, we're going to test it then. I've just been clicking around here, and I've got GitHub, and it's like flowing. It's like that flow state. It hasn't really left me here. Yeah, this is great. It changed the alt text here. Let's just see here, and yeah, there we go. It's got that there, and push to current branch, and we're going to click that, and I'm going to generate the description. Just clicky, clicky, clicky. Push to current branch, and then go back into my Visual Studio Code, and I want to go into here. And also, if you want to, you can reopen it in a dev container, but I don't think we're going to have time to actually cover that though. So then I can go into my source control, sync the changes back. Okay, cool. Give me those changes that we had there. And then now we've got the HTML file here. There shouldn't be any linter issues here. No linter issues here. And I can actually just open that in a reveal file explorer, and big reveal here if this does work, hopefully. And now I'm going to do fast pass here, and I can go, okay, fast pass. Ah, color contrast. Okay, let's go solve that there. It didn't actually do all of that. Oh, maybe I need to do refresh. Okay, let's just go into that. Let's fix the access. It did it in red though. That's fascinating. Let's go into here. Let's just go back into the content here. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's see if we can find that issue here. Let's go into that red text there. Okay, the text is styled inline though. So I can right click on that, and I can go Copilot, fix the contrast. I think that's all of the, yeah. So they do here, this style because that, accept. And then I can finally go into here, and I can go, okay, cool, let's open it up into here. And we want to open in Reveal and File Explorer. And we want to go into here. Let's just close all these little windows here. We're going to go Reveal in File Explorer. There we go. Let me just minimize that, minimize lots of windows here. And there we go, index.html. I'm going to make that bigger. I'm going to refresh that. And finally, let's go here. And we want to go fast pass. Ah! I think I'm on the wrong page, though. That actually, I didn't check it, though. No, cancel that. And we want to move that there. It's absolutely fascinating. It actually didn't do that. I think I didn't actually save the file in the previous window. So let's go make that bigger. Let's go back there. So it's iterative around as you go through here. And then you can just save that there. And then I can just go, okay, cool. Fix the color contrast. And it'll go color contrasts. It gets what I am. I went to private school, so to fix all the color contrasts there. Okay, description of an image though. So I just basically said, just stop what you're doing right now. I want to go have a beer, and I want you to apply in the editor. Let's make sure it's finished there. The darker shade of red. Oh, I think it's like a little bit of selective when it says color contrast with that though. Okay, and then it goes in and goes accept changes. Maybe I didn't click accept change there. And then I can go in and file save. So it's an iterative process as you go through there. And then you can go through the chat. You can go through the workspace there. And I just want to make sure that there was your committed, services, alt text, class equals red text. I don't know, the red text is not really the best in general then. I'm going to actually just take that out completely there just to make sure that we don't do that. P. This text, yeah, darker red. I think it's kind of like getting like, you want to do red, I'm going to do darker red. And it's like going around in a circle there with that though. So it's like, no, red is what you told me to do. And I won't do it unless you tell me what to do red though. And we want to actually go into image source, image content with center text appreciated. And we want to go into just make sure that your red text align, high contrast color. Okay, let's go see if that is good here. And let's go reveal in File Explorer. And okay, that's better. This doesn't shock my eyes that we have there. Let's just make sure that we get that out there. And now we can actually go, okay, cool. Let's see if there's any other issues. And you rinse and repeat until you do it correctly. Let's do it one more final time though. And we go fast pass. Yeah, great feeling there. Drop the mic demo. And it did get confused with like, hey, you want to do red? I'll do red, but I'll just make it dark and dark and dark. No AI. Okay, you do what I say. No red text. Okay, cool. So then we're done there. So let's go back into here. And we want to go into from current slide. So all of that is in WCAG, HTML WCAG -issues. You saw there how I did that, and I flowed, except for it thinking that I needed to do a darker red text every second there. It worked kind of like seamlessly. Now, a lot of this, you can do the slides, but also there's some basics that you want to go through. And that's aka.ms/accessibility fundamentals. You get a badge. You can pop it on your LinkedIn profile. So it is a great way to do that. You can follow me on @Rory Preddy on LinkedIn. My DMs are open. I love speaking to developers and even salespeople, and occasionally a recruiter to help them and motivate though. So you can snap that, and we're going to take some questions. I don't know. Matt, do we have any questions?
We don't have any questions in the chat. I think that people have been following along, and if there are questions, how to contact Rory. People will know how to contact me. I'll go ahead and put my email address in chat too. If Rory's not available, I think this is my email.
I'm in South Africa, so I'm like perfectly aligned to the time zone. So that it's only Alaskans. Any Alaskans here? Maybe just wait. Alaskans and Australians that I've noticed that it's hard to chat to them.
Well, you're 10 hours ahead of me, so it's like 7 in the morning for me right now. So.
It is 5 p.m. Yeah, but you and I, and we like you like mornings. I like afternoons. So.
Yep, it works out. So. Rory, thank you. As I said, right before we started, I knew I was going to learn something, and I did. It's things are developing so fast, changing so fast that if I see a new demo every couple of weeks, I'll see something new. So we'll have to have you back in a month or so to show us what changed.
Lots.
Thanks a ton. Really appreciate your time and sharing your wisdom. And the troubleshooting is kind of my favorite part. So we get to see how a great mind fixes problems.
Red text day. I'm going to go back in and have a stern conversation with that AI.
Thanks so much. We'll catch you later.